Hey folks, Santi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. In this episode, I'm going to work at my Suzuki Gsx600f daily ride. I got back home and after a little bit of moving the bike, I have noticed a lot of oil is coming out from the fork seal. So that's something what I have to fix it, because it's gonna cause effect on the riding, and even the oil can run down to the brake. So that's really need to be fixed. So now I'm gonna put more things together. So I'm going to take out the forks as well to fix them, and the rebuild kits and the brake pads are in for the brakes. So I'm gonna do two things at once. So I'm gonna take out the front fork completely, rebuild the brakes, rebuild the forks with new oil of course, and then I'm gonna put on already a red fender, and gonna check the wheel bearings as well, because I have noticed some vibration on the fourth fork, and that could be caused by the wheel bearing. If so, then I'm gonna replace those too. And because now the bike has double exhaust, the side kick turns out to be really loosey, and it's touching the exhaust side. Even took out the paint already. So this is something what I'm gonna check. It's maybe by time has been extended, so I'm gonna close a little bit on it to see how it's gonna act, and of course then fix the wheel brake as well, check the wheel bearing as well. So a lot of things to do. Let's get to start. So I decided to start with the side stand, which is, I don't know how much visible, but it's not straight anymore. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to heat it up and so I hammer it back to straight, because that's it's not positioning properly. There's a huge gap, and that's why it says a sideways. So if the front should go back a little bit, then it would stand different, hopefully. So that's what I'm gonna try first. Now it's back. Luckily the idea worked. Now we have some gap, a few millimeter, and it's still loose, but now at least have some gap. So now it's not gonna touch the exhaust, and even the spring were crossed, so now it's much stronger to close back. Before it was stucking around here and had to kick back by leg, but now it's working as it should, luckily. So this task is complete. Let's move on to the front. So now the front fork is out. I already did prepare the brake pads, did press out the cylinders too, so that's gonna be easier to pull them out. And the bearing gives me a little bit of mixed feels. Not sure it's good, not sure it's bad, but just in case I'm going to replace them anyway. So I did place the order for the new one, and the forks are here. So I'm gonna start to pull them apart, put in the new seals, and then fill up that with oil and put them back. That should be quick. Now the forks are apart, and unfortunately they are visible, worn down on the on the compression rings, and even I accidentally just ordered the seals, not a new cover. So I decided just like to put back like this. Gonna make a list for the next oil change in the front forks. I'm going to order a new set of bushings for it, and of course a new set of seal again with a new dust cover. But for now I just put back like this. So let's put it back together. Now the forks are complete and they are back to the bike. So now I'm gonna fill up the forks with oil, and then adjust the right height, and then torque down the clamps, put back the front wheel for now, because I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the bearings here. But what I have noticed, this freely moving spacer wasn't moving freely, so I have found the replacement. I did put it in that one. That could cause some problem, but officially should not, but just in case I did replace it, which has free movements. So then fill them up with oil, and then this task is actually complete. Now the forks are back, the forks are torqued, the wheel isn't yet. I'm gonna do that when the brakes are complete and back. And now both cylinders are apart, need a really good clean. Have found some dirt in it, so that's maybe a good thing they're gonna get a rebuild kit. Well, unfortunately they gave really hard time. I was suffering a lot with them, even one I could not take out without damage, unfortunately, but luckily I have a spare, so I can use that. That was a little bit part of the decision making. I don't care, because they were really stuck. I was busy like maybe 2 hours to get them out, so yeah, it's just like, okay, not wasting more time. So now they're gonna get a nice proper cleaning, put back the new O-rings, and they just gonna go back on the bike. Now it took a while, but luckily I could manage to scrape off all the dirt. So now time to insert the new O-rings and put them back together, put back to the bike, and after gonna bleed them. Now the calipers are complete, they're good to go back to the bike, and then I'm gonna insert the new brake pads. After that I'm gonna torque them down. Now everything hooked up, the hose as well. Put back all the pads yet for the bleeding. When the bleeding is complete, then I'm gonna put in the new one. Well, because both are empty, I hope it's not gonna take too long to fill up the system and get it work. Well, hope for the best. Now the system is loaded and bleeded, and I insert already the new pads, new pins, new clips both sides. They're also gonna go to the bin, of course. So this part is complete. Now I can move to the rear brake, and really excited already to see how she's gonna work like this. Now I've got the rear end, and as you can see, the O-ring is out from this one as well, so it was a good call to order a rebuild kit for this one as well. Now I'm gonna pump up the cylinders and gonna pull them out, and because it has only 2 pistons, hopefully it's gonna be quicker. And actually the pads are not that too much worn, but definitely are some damages on the surface, and even I feel some positions sometimes, so I may gonna replace the disc as well, because when I'm pressing the brake, it's like hitting back when it has a low pressure, so that's could be meaning that the brake disc is waving. But first loose those up and then reveal them. Now they are apart. Luckily they came apart much easier than the front one. They have also some build-up, but it's not that bad, and a lot of steel in the back side of the cylinder. So I'm gonna get a good clean and then install the new O-rings and put them back, and of course clean the calipers as well. Now everything is cleaned. Luckily it was much thicker than the front one. So now I'm gonna insert the O-rings, put back them together, put back on the bike, bleed them. And I was thinking, because the bearings are still not here, so I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put back the old pads and gonna take her out for a spin and see how the rear brake is acting. If it's still pumping, then probably damage the disc, and when I'm gonna replace the bearings, I'm gonna replace the disc as well. So now let's put back together and take her out for a spin. Now I did empty the reservoir, cleaned the bottom, it had some dirt in it. So now everything's set to fill up the system and bleed. I did put back the complete old hardware, the pads, the pins and the clips. And then if the position is gone, then I'm gonna swap back for the new one. I gotta install the new one. So let's bleed it. Now she's all set. Let's take her out for a spin. Luckily the test ride goes well. I'm really happy with the result. The braking power is amazing, front and back finally, so it's braking as it should. Unfortunately the rear brake is still pulsating, so I'm gonna dig up my stock. I have some spare wheels, so hopefully I'm gonna find a good disc And when the bearings are here, I'm gonna replace the front and back bearings and the real brake disc. So that's also gonna be done, and for a really long period, hopefully not gonna need any brake work, and not gonna be any problem with the rolling. So that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, see you in the next one. Bye bye.